Hi guys, my name is Steven, and welcome to video number 18 in my new series called Introduction to CodeIgniter. What I'll be showing you guys in this video is we'll be taking the form that we built last video, and we will be running it through the form validation library. I'll show you guys the ins and outs, a couple of the different functions, and the tools in the form validation library. So yeah, let's get started. Last video we made this beautiful form. This pretty awesome form, and it submits to the send email function in our site controller. Take a look at that. Let's clean some of this up. Let's go. We'll need the site controller and the contact view, and that's about it. Yes. Okay. So first thing we want to do is we actually want to load the form validation library. So what we'll do is in the contact controller, we will we have that send email function, so we can actually create that now. Function send underscore email, and then we'll load that library. This load library form validation, form underscore validation. Okay, the next thing we want to do is we actually want to take a look at some of these values so we can start validating them. So the name and ID of the full name text field in our contact page right here is full name. So I'm just going to copy that. Whoa. Okay, there we go. And we'll actually start setting some rules. And this may seem a little bit confusing at first, but I'll finish it off and it'll make perfect sense, I promise. So this form validation set underscore rules is one of the functions of this library. Now this receives three parameters. The first is the actual name or ID that's submitted of the text field. The second is the user readable value, so full name. So when we look ahead, this will be what's actually outputting when it does when you have an error. For example, let's say the full name field is empty. It'll say the full name field must not be empty, or something like that. And then the third parameter is there are all the conditions that need to be met. So in this case, we're just going to put required in here for now, and we'll save this. And I guess now we can just copy this line twice. This one was email address, and this one was message. And of course for this we want to change to email address. Two D's, and this one message. Perfect. Okay. Now, if you're used to doing form validation, you'll notice, like, if these conditions are met, then what? You know, like, of course, this is going to lead to an if-then statement. So we'll go if, and this is also a new function that you'll learn. This form validation run is exactly equal to false. Then we'll do this. So if it failed, we're going to load this view again, the whole contact view, all over again, and I'll show you how we actually echo those validation errors. How we do that is we actually go into the view after we load this view again, and before we open the form, we'll echo validation errors. Is another function of the form validation library. Basically, the way this works is if you load this this library in the controller and then eventually call the view, you can actually use all the functions of the library in the view itself, which is what we're doing here. So now if we go and refresh this page, we'll check and see if we have any errors. No, we don't. What if we try and submit the form now? We click send. We're actually getting, like, it does this all for us. Like, how awesome is that? The full name field is required. The email address field is required. The message field is required. Before we get too much further, though, why don't we complete that if then? Because now we're going to have an else statement saying, so if it's false, then it'll run, then it'll do this, and it'll echo out all the errors so that the user can then compensate for that. But if it's successful, then I'm actually going to do another trick. Instead of calling another view, we're just going to pass in a value to that view called like message. And it'll be the email has successfully been sent. And then we'll load this view again and pass that variable, the array into it. And now if we, because all these are just required, we'll fill that up with garbage data, press send, email address field is required. That could have been because I named it wrong. Yeah, it probably is. We'll take a look at this. Yes, it's just email. So we can copy this, go back into our, yeah, so the name for email is not email address, it's just email. We'll paste that in there, save it, and then fill with garbage data again. And look at that. It actually is passing in that value, but we're not echoing it out. So it's passing in the data array. But yeah, so if we go into content contact, the view, we can actually echo this out like here. So just echo, what did I call it? Message? Yeah, message. Should be good like that. Now if we refresh this, email has successfully been sent. So that when everything is validated successfully and everything comes up positive, it's passing this message into the view. However, because now that this view is expecting the variable of this message, we just need to pass in the data array into every time we load the contact view, which is only here and here. So what I'll do is basically take this whole thing and we'll just pass in, it'll just have nothing in it. So this is kind of a trick, but what it does is it prevents us from needing another page for saying that you're an entire another view that says the email has been sent or whatever. Instead, we're just passing in values. So it's a much more efficient way to do it. So now, if we actually go to the contact page, we don't have any errors. Whereas if we weren't passing in this data array, oh, that's the wrong one, we would have an error saying that message has been message is undefined. So we'll just undo that, go back in there, save it, good to go. Okay, and I believe, yes, we also need to pass in the array when the validation fails. Okay, excellent. Next step is I'll show you guys some more of these conditions that need to be met. For the email, there's a valid underscore email. So what that'll do is it'll take the string that is sent from the contact form. So if we fill this up with garbage data again, press send. Even though they're all full, the email address has to be valid. So it would have to be @something.com or .something. Something at something.something is all it is. So now if we send this, the email has been sent. So we're validating successfully again, and this valid email condition is right. Another one is alpha, and we'll put this on the full name field because they're not going to have numbers in their name. They better not, otherwise that's weird. They're not going to, basically all this means is if it is a capital case or capital letter or a lowercase letter. And again, we can test this by going numbers, underscores, stuff. So this is actually going to give us a couple of these. The email address and the full name may only contain alphabetical characters, which is cool. So that's working. One more, I guess another thing I want to show you about this is notice how every time I do it, these values become blank again. I'm going to show you how to set these values so that they'll actually stay. And we'll do that like this. Right now the value in our arrays that we're passing into this form input helper is or the form helper is just set to blank, and that's a problem. What we can actually do is there's a function in the form validation library called setValue, and in this we just say which of these names we actually want it to be. So in this case, this is for the full name field. We just put setValue full name, and so whatever we typed into the input field of full name, that'll show up next time. So we'll try this. So you can actually see that what we typed in when we submitted the form is actually being repopulated in that field, so they don't have to type it every time they get an error. And we'll do the same thing for the other two fields as well. Of course, this one will be email, and this one will be message. And that's me copying and pasting. Hope it's not too fast. Give you a second to read that. And okay. Now if we refresh this, go back, or we'll just go back to the contact page, try it again from start. Type my name is Steven. My email address is Steven at phpacademy.org. And the message, hello Steven. The email has been sent. Okay, so now we have a fairly complex, oh yeah, one more thing. Cross-site scripting. The title of this video is security. Cross-site scripting is one of the biggest problems that I've had in some of my online applications. People can do use scripts from other websites on my site through these input fields. And this is actually really simple to prevent with CodeIgniter. What you do is you just attach another condition called XSS_clean. And we'll actually do that to all of them. And sorry I didn't explain. This little thing right here, that's the bar. It's like when you put a /, it's like shift / on a PC keyboard. I'm not actually sure what it is on a Mac. But hopefully you know, I think it's called bar is all it's called. And you just separate the conditions in this third parameter with those. Okay, and this XSS clean condition will actually prevent anyone from doing cross-site scripting in those input fields. And it's actually just that simple. I think that's actually it for the form validation library. In the next video, you can obviously see that if the form validation runs, then it's echoing out a message of the email has been successfully sent, but we're not actually sending any emails, which is kind of funny. In the next video, I'll be showing you guys the email library, so we'll actually be working all in here. It'll be fun. So yeah, thanks for watching.